For years, they sold you a promise. The ISA was sacred, untouchable, the one-walled garden where your money could grow, and the taxman had to stand outside the gate and watch, tax-free, forever. That was the deal. On the 23rd of June, 2026, the Chancellor changed the deal, and she did it while the game was still being played. Rachel Reeves didn't stand at a podium and announce a new tax on live television. There was no red box, no fanfare, no vote. HMRC simply published a document, and buried inside it was a single line that quietly ended 30 years of tax-free saving as you knew it. A 22% charge on the cash sitting inside your stocks and shares ISA. Nobody voted for that. It wasn't on a ballot paper. It wasn't the headline of a manifesto. It arrived as a technical footnote in a consultation, and it is coming for your money on the 6th of April, 2027. Let me show you exactly how the trap was built. Rewind to last autumn. In the budget, Reeves announced she was slashing the amount you could pour into a cash ISA. The old limit, £20,000 a year, was being cut hard, down to £12,000 for anyone under the age of 65. The reasoning sounded almost noble. Britain, she argued, holds too much cash and doesn't invest enough. So the plan was simple: shrink the cash allowance and nudge the nation into the stock market. But savers are clever. And the moment that cash limit was cut, everyone spotted the same escape hatch. If your cash ISA is capped at £12,000, why not just open a stocks and shares ISA, keep the full £20,000 allowance, and simply leave it in cash? Same tax-free interest. Bigger limit, loophole found. The Treasury saw it coming, and on the 23rd of June, it slammed the hatch shut. Here is the mechanism in plain English. From the 6th of April, 2027, any interest earned on cash held inside a non-cash ISA, that's your stocks and shares ISA, and your innovative finance ISA, will be hit with a flat 22% charge. Read that again. The interest inside your ISA, the thing that was, by definition, tax-free, is now taxed. And it's brutally simple in its cruelty. You don't declare it. You don't get a bill in the post. Your ISA provider quietly takes 22% of your cash interest and hands it straight to HMRC, directly out of your account, before you ever lay eyes on it. There's no personal savings allowance to shield you here, either. That £1,000 of tax-free interest most savers rely on, it does not apply inside the wrapper. From the very first penny of interest, the taxman takes his slice. And think about who this actually hurts. It's not the reckless, it's the careful, the saver who sells a fund to lock in a gain and parks the proceeds in cash while they decide what's next. The investor who drip feeds money in slowly to ride out the market's ups and downs, the person who simply wants a safe cash buffer, ready to buy the dip. Every single one of them just became a target. Now layer the pieces together, and you see the shape of the cage. 1. The cash ISA limit is cut to £12,000. 2. Park the overflow as cash inside a stocks and shares ISA, and it's taxed at 22%. And 3. The part they're calling anti-circumvention, you are no longer allowed to transfer money from a non-cash ISA back into a cash ISA if you are under 65. Anti-circumvention is a very polite phrase for a trap. It means the exits are locked. You can walk into the investment ISA, but you cannot walk your cash back out into the safety of a cash ISA. The door only swings one way, and they sealed the last window too. You can't just stuff your whole stocks and shares ISA with money market funds the near-cash safe haven investors were eyeing, because from 2027, an ISA that is 100% cash-like is ruled a non-qualifying investment. Hold only that, and you lose the tax protection entirely. Every clever escape route the public found in real time, the Treasury has quietly bricked up, one by one. When a policy is this contentious, you look to the one voice millions of Britons actually trust. And Martin Lewis, the founder of Money Saving Expert, did not hold back. Now, Lewis was careful to be fair. Getting more people to invest, he said, is a good aim. Britain genuinely does sit on too much idle cash. On the goal itself, he agrees, but on the method, he was scathing. This, he said, should have been done with a carrot, not a stick. That single phrase captures the whole story. A carrot rewards you for investing, a stick punishes you for not. And what the Treasury has built here is unmistakably a stick, a penalty aimed squarely at the cautious, designed not to tempt you into the market, but to make staying in cash hurt. Even the nation's most trusted money expert is calling it a blunt tool, because that is exactly what it is. And now for the detail that turns frustration into something far sharper, that £12,000 cap. It only bites if you are under 65. Cross that line, and the old, generous £20,000 cash ISA allowance is handed straight back to you. The transfer ban lifts too. In the tax year, you turn 65. So sit with what that means. Your parents, comfortable, retired, already holding the wealth, keep the full protection. They can shelter £20,000 in safe, tax-free cash every single year. You, younger, still building, the one who most needs a safe place to hold a house deposit, are handed the smaller limit and quietly shoved toward the risk of the market, ready or not. One rule for the retired, another for everyone still climbing. That is not an accident. That is the design. But be clear on one thing, because it matters. Crossing 65 does not save you from the 22% charge. That charge on cash interest inside an investment ISA applies to everyone, every age, every tax bracket, even non-taxpayers. The age line protects your cash limit. It does not protect your interest. So what does this actually mean for the next 9 months? Here's the one piece of genuinely good news. None of this has happened yet. Right now, this tax year, the old rules still stand. The full £20,000, 100% of it in cash. If you want it there, no charge. The rules are still in draft, out for consultation, and the shutter does not come down until the 6th of April, 2027, which makes this year your runway. Not a moment to panic, a moment to plan. For a lot of people, that means using this year's full, unsqueezed allowance while it still exists. It means taking a hard look at any large lump of cash sitting loose inside an investment account and deciding, deliberately, where it ought to live before the charge lands. For some, a dedicated cash ISA is the answer. For others, it's finally putting idle money to work, or exploring another tax-free home for it entirely, like a pension or a SIP. None of this is personal financial advice. Your situation is yours alone, and these rules are still being finalized. But the savers who come out of this well will not be the ones who react in a blind rush next March. They'll be the ones who understood the board today. Because when you step back, this was never really about ISAs. It's about a single, quiet strategy the Treasury has leaned on for years. They call it fiscal drag, the art of raising more from you without ever standing up and announcing a tax rise. You don't get a new tax, the goalposts just move, and you drift into the net without ever being told you'd been caught. This is that strategy, aimed straight at your savings. The government has decided it wants your money out of cash and into the market, funding British companies, feeding the economy, whether that suits your life, your plans, or your appetite for risk or not. They didn't ask, they didn't put it to a vote, they just changed the deal, mid-game, and locked the exits behind you. So the tax-free ISA you were promised, take one last long look at it, because from the 6th of April, 2027, for the careful saver, for the cautious, for everyone who simply wanted their money to be safe, it isn't quite so tax-free anymore. If you learned something, make sure to like and hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.